Hello guys, welcome to Modern Web. In today's video, we will learn to create this awesome e-commerce section. In this section, you can see we have a beautiful header. You can see we have the images on the right and left side and some detail in the middle. So let's see. You can see we have the heading, beautiful heading in the middle, and below that we have a little bit description about the product. After the detail, we have this buy now button, and after that we have this arrow to navigate through the images. We have the image on the right side, and below the image we have the blurred image which is looking nice. On the left side we have this small product detail section where we have a small product image and some detail about it. If we click on this arrow, we can change or navigate through other products. You can see we have a cool animation here. Let's see that again. If we click in again, you can see the beautiful transition between products. So this is the page or section that we are going to create in today's tutorial. So before starting the tutorial, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe it right now because more awesome tutorials are on their way. And make sure you like the video because it really motivates me. You can find its source code in the description. So without wasting more time, let's get started. So we have three files for this project, one HTML file, one CSS and one JS file. So let's start writing code in the index.html page. Start by writing simple HTML template and give it a title, let's say modern product page. After that, once you are done with the title, link the style.css file and then go to Google Fonts and search for Serif stencil font. I'm going to use this font for our heading font. So copy this link tag here and paste it below the style.css file. Great. After done with this link the app.js file also. So let's start with left side part. So for that, make a div and give it a class left side, of course, because I didn't find other useful class name. Inside it, make a span element and give it a class logo. This will be our logo. Now let's check the demo. You can see we got the fashion text in here. Now let's style it. Use star selector to style all the elements at once. And inside here set margin and padding to 0. And also set box sizing to border box. After that, let's style the body element. Select the body element and give its width to 100% and set its height to 100 VH. VH is vertical height or viewport height. Set its position to relative because we have some absolute position elements also, and set display flex. After that, style the left side element. Give its width to 15 VW or viewport width and set its height to 100 VH or 100%, doesn't matter. Set a border right because we want a border right here. Set it to be 1 pixel solid and an alpha black color. Okay, so you can see the border here. Set its position to relative. Of course, we have some absolute elements inside it, that's why we need it. And set it display flex because we want the small product container to be in the center. Now let's style the logo element. For that, select the logo element and here set its text transform to uppercase. This will uppercase all the letters of our text. After that, set its font weight to 700 because we want it a little bit bold. Set its font size to VW. I am using VW here because I want it to be responsive to vertical width or viewport width, not vertical, it's viewport width. Set its position to absolute because I just want it to rotate. So for that I have to use position absolute. You can see here our text is little bit offset. To fix that, rotate the text a little bit. Use transform property for that and hopefully it will be good. Yeah, it's looking great. Now we just need to add a font family here. Use user select none. This property will not allow user to select the element. And in this star selector, set font family to Roboto because Roboto I'm going to use it as a main font family for the page. So let's create the small product container now. For that, create a div after the logo here and give it a class sm product. Sm stand for small, and inside it make an h1 element. This will be our page index or product index to be precise. This will indicate what index or what product we are looking. After that, make a div and give it a class sm product image container. This will be the container of our image. So why we need a container for the image? Because we want to have the black div going over the image between the transition, and we can't use a simple image for that. We have to use a div element for that. I hope you understood. Otherwise, no worry, we will talk about this later. After that, after the div, create a p element and set its class to sm product description. This will be the description of our product. Okay, so we got the image and the description. Now let's style them. So select the sm product class here and paste that here. Set its width to 100% and set its height to auto because we really don't know what the height will be. Now let's select the product index here and set its font size to 2VW. Again, I am using viewport width here because I want it to be responsive to the view width. Okay, after that, let's style the product image. For that, select sm product image container. Set its position to relative because we will have a absolute black div inside it, and set its margin to 0.vw, 0.5 vw from top and bottom, and set its height to 15 vw. Once you are done with that, select the small product image and set its width to 100% and set its height to 15 vw, and use object fit property to resize the image properly so it will maintain its ratio. You can see we have the image is in the ratio and it's looking cool. Now let's style the sm product description. For that, inside it, give the text align right because we want the text to be on the right side, and give it some padding and also give it some line height. This is the space between lines, and set its font size to 1VW. Also give it a color. Okay, so the output is very nice, but I think this is too much long paragraph. So let's short this paragraph a little bit, remove the extra words from here, and yeah, now it's looking good. So I guess we are done with the small container. Now let's make the social links here. For that, make a div element here. Give this div a class social link. This will contain a social link, and inside it make an image element and give it a source of facebook.png and give it a class of social link image. By the way, you can download the images from the description. Okay, so you can see the social links on the right side, but we really need it on the bottom. For that, let's style those images. So select the social link here and set its position to absolute, and set a bottom of 30 pixels because we need it to be 30 pixels away from the bottom, and set its left to 50% and use transform translate x property to make it properly on the center. Great, now let's style or small the images little bit. For that, select social link image here, and inside it set its width to 1.6 VW and height to 1.6 VW also, and give it a margin of 0.5 VW from all over the places. And for the pointer cursor, use cursor property. So it's looking great. I guess we are done with the left side. Now we can move on to the right side for the main content section. For that, make a div here. Give this a class right side. Again, I didn't find any useful class for this. Inside it, make an image element and set a image here. Give it a class backdrop image. This will be the blurred image in the background. So let's style the right side here. Set its width to 85 VW because we have 15 VW of left side. Set its height to 100 VH and set its position to relative. Note, I made a mistake here. The position should be relative, not absolute. Use display flex and align item center. Also a justify content center to make the content in the middle perfectly. Now let's style the backdrop element. Give it a position of absolute and set its width to 225 VW along with the height of 100%. Again, set its position to absolute because we don't want to interfere any other element because of this. Set the stop to 0 and right to 0 to make it perfectly on the right side, and use object fit cover to make the image properly on its proportion. The image is not on the right because the right side element has absolute position. I don't know the issue here, that's why I'm setting its width to 100 VW for now. For you to fix this issue, make sure you set relative position of right side element. Now inside backdrop image, use filter property to make the image blur. Okay, it's looking nice. Now let's make the content. Below the backdrop image element, make a div and give it a class of content. Of course, this will contain our all content. Inside it, make another div and give it a class of product detail. Inside it, make an h1 element and give it a class of product name. This will be the name of our product. Inside it, give some text. After this h1 element, make a p element and give it a class of product description. This will be the description of our product. After this p element, make an anchor tag, set a hashtag inside of href attribute and give it a class of by btn. Also give it a text inside it. It isn't looking cool, right? So let's style it. Again, go to the style.css file and select the content element here. Set its width to 80% and set display to flex. Use align item center to make the content perfectly in the center. And also make sure you set the position to relative. Now you can see I have given the position absolute to right side. To fix the issue, set the position to relative. Great, so it's finally fixed now. Now let's style the product name and description elements. So for that, select product detail element here. Inside it, set its width to 60% because we will have 40% width of our image. And now select the product name element, of course, and set its font size to 8 pw. Set text transform to capitalize to make the first letter uppercase. And here copy the font family code from the Google font and paste it after the text transform. Now set its font weight to 300 because we don't want it to be bold. Use line height and set it to 9 VW. Let's refresh the page and yeah, it's looking great. So I guess we are done with the product name also. So let's style the product description. Give it a margin of 4 viewport width from top and bottom. Set its width to 90% because we really don't want it to be 100%. Set its font size to 1.2 VW and also set its line height to 2 VW. Also set its color to alpha black color with 0.5 opacity, I guess. And hopefully it will be good. Yeah, it's looking great. So the only thing we have to style is, yeah, you guessed right, buy button. So select that element. Use text decoration none to remove the underline and set its color to black. Use text transform capitalize to make the first letter uppercase and set its font size to 1.2 VW. And it's looking great. Now let's create the arrow. For that, make a button element after the buy button and give it a class of next btn. Inside it, make an image element and give it a source of arrow.png. And let's style this. You can see we have a button and an image inside it. So let's style the next btn here. Set its border to none because we really don't need any border. And also set its background to none. Set display flex. Give it some margin from left. Give some margin from top and give some margin from right. These values are calculated by me manually. You can play with these values on your own. Now set cursor pointer for the hand pointer and use justify content center and align item center to make the image perfectly in the center. Okay, great, it's looking great. Now let's style the image. For that, select next btn image and inside it set its width to 60%. And yeah, now it's good. The only thing we are left is the image. So after the product detail element, make a div and give it a class product image container. This will the container of our image. Inside it, make an image element, give it a source and give it a class of product image. Of course, we need to style these elements, so copy the product image container here and you can see a big image here, right? So let's go to style.css file and paste the class name here. Set its width to 40% and set its height to 40 VW. Set its position to relative and give it a overflow hidden. Yeah, so you can see the image is overflowing and it is hidden. So let's resize the image. For that, select the image, select product image and inside it set its width to 100% and height to 100%. Also use object fit cover property. Well, we are done with the header section. We have a beautiful header section now. Now we just have to create the transitions. For that, let's start with the overlay. Make a div at the very top and give it a class of overlay. And let's style the element here. Set its position to absolute. Set top to 0, left to 0, bottom to 0 and right to 0. It means we want it to be of width 100% and height 100%. And set a background color of white. Set its opacity to 1 because we want it to be fade out effect. Make sure you set its Z index to 9 or a higher value so that it will be top of all of the elements. Now set its pointer event to none. This property means you will not be able to click on the element. Okay, so now let's make an animation for fade out. So use keyframes for that, and here use 2 because we really won't have any from state, so use to state and set its opacity to 0 here. Now use animation property and set the animation here. Set its direction to forward, and you can see we have a smooth fading out effect. Great, now we just have to create the transition effects for that. So for transition effect, add slide class to the small product container, and let's style this class. Now we will toggle this class from JavaScript. So here select the class slide and use before pseudo class here, pseudo element, because we will create a pseudo element. Set its content to blank because we have no content, and set its position to absolute. Set its top to 0 and left to negative 100%. Set its width to 100% and set its height to 100%. This will cover the whole container, and set its background to black color. Now if we refresh the page, of course we will not see anything because the left property is negative 100%. So change the left property to 0 and hopefully we will see something. Okay, we got the black box, but we didn't expect it that, right? So remove the slide class from here and paste that inside a small product image container. And yeah, now it's perfect. So you can revert, you can set the left property to negative 100% again and use animation property to set slide left animation here. Use linear as an animation direction. And now let's create the slide left animation using @ keyframes. Again, we don't have from state here, so set to state and set its left to 100%. You can see the smooth animation here. We just need to add the overflow hidden inside the product image container. So let's find the image container. Inside it, set its overflow to hidden. And if we refresh the page, yeah, the animation is okay. So if we copy this slide class and paste it into the product image container, we hopefully see the animation here also. Yeah, great. Now we just have to create the fade out effect. Select fade class here. Of course we don't have this class. We will use this class to toggle the fade animation. Set pointer events to none here and set animation to fade. Use forward as a animation direction here. Now let's create the fade animation using @ keyframes. Here use 0% or 100% to map the keyframes. Set its position to 1 at the start and at the end of the animation, and in the middle, let's say 45% and 60%. Set its opacity to 0. So if we add this fade class in the product detail, hopefully we will see the fade animation. Yeah, you can see we got the fade animation. You can remove this class because we will toggle it from the JavaScript. You can remove this slide class also. Now let's write the JavaScript. Before starting, you can download this app.js file from the description. You can see we have a product data array here. This array contains 3 product objects. Each object contains the data related to project. We have index, name, image, and the description detail about product. So you can download this app.js file from the description, or you can make your own product data array. After the product array, make a variable next btn and select the next button or arrow button here using query selector method. Inside it, pass the next button class. Do the same for all the elements that we need in our JavaScript. I am fast forwarding this clip. Description and also use index.html for this to set its description. Use .slice method to slice the long string up to 80 characters only. This slice will cut the string into 80 characters. So you can see the description is also changing. Now we just have to toggle the classes for transition effects. For that, select image container and use .classlist.add to add the slide class to it. And if we check this on the page, you can see the animation is working. But if we click on it again, it will not work because we have to remove the class. So for that, use set timeout and inside here set the time to be 1000 milliseconds. Inside it, remove the class. Select image container, use classlist.remove to remove the slide class. Now let's check whether it's working or not. So if we click on the arrow image, great, we got the image animation. Yeah, it's working now. Now we just have to add this slide class to the main image container also. So select product image container and use classlist.add to add the slide class to it also. Copy this line and paste it inside set timeout. Change the add to remove the slide class. And hopefully the animation will work. Yeah, so it's working. Now we just have to change the image source. Make another set time out here and set it to be 500 milliseconds. Inside it, select product name to change the name of the product and use inner HTML to set its name to the product name. Do the same to set the product description. Select product description dot inner HTML here, not product data dot inner HTML. And after that, set the image. Select sm image.src, set it to equals to product image.src because we want every image source to be the same, so you can assign them values at the same time. Notice I'm using template string here, I'm not using single quotes here, so make sure of that. Okay, I guess we are done with the code. Let's see the demo output. So if we click on the arrow, yeah, the images are changing and the content is also changing. So yes, we are done with it. We just need to add the fade out animation or fade class to the content. Here select backdrop image and use classlist.add again to add the fade class to it. Do the same for product detail element. Copy both lines and paste it inside 1 second set timeout and change the add to remove the fade class. And we are done with the section. You can see it's looking amazing, isn't it? I hope you find the video helpful. If you have learned something new, make sure to like this video and subscribe the channel. It really motivates me. You can find the source code in the description, and again, if you don't know or understand anything, let me know in the comment. Thanks for watching.